Is it visible, sir?
Good. Yes, yes. Now you just stop here. I have to give introduction
Yes.
first. Ruchi ma'am, start the recording, please. Okay.
Done.
Good evening to one and everyone present here. I would like to thank everyone for joining me today here on the platform of Igniting Power Engineers. This is the sixth webinar in a row from this platform of Igniting Power Engineers. This is being completely conducted on digital platform due to COVID-19 pandemic, and it is our pleasure to welcome all the participants who have joined from the various walks of life. And I would like to thank my team, our team, who have left no stone unturned to make every webinar happen from this platform a great success. The theme of our webinar just keep on changing, and we try to cover every aspect of the power system. On the same line, we have come out with a very unique topic which is very relevant and the requirement of present time, how to get maximum benefit leverage from the smart metering, because the smart itself is a buzzword. You need smart gadget, smartphone, smart telephone, smart TV, smart children, smart boss. Now, how you can get benefit from the smart meter you have in your system? We are going to talk with a legend, not other than respected Rajesh Bansal. He's a person who doesn't require any introduction in Google. When the moment you write smart meter, you get first name Rajesh Bansal, second name Rajesh Bansal, and only Rajesh Bansal is there. We are very happy and delighted to welcome respected Honorable Rajesh Bansal sir, who accepted our invitation and he is with me. I would also like to thank and acknowledge all the stalwarts mentors who have supported this webinar to happen. And I will be failing in my duty if I don't take name of ALPA, Earthing Lightning Professional Association, who are giving their technical support every time I requested them, and they are giving restless support. Now, as I usually do, time to thank all of the mentors who have contributed this platform to rise. I would like to start with PPY sir, Anjali Chandra ma'am, Sahil sir, Pramod sir, Dr. Kamal Bansal, P. Ramachandran sir, respected Murthy sir, KK Gupta sir, respected NK Mittal sir, Sanjay Agarwal ji, Amit Bhatia sir, Apao sir, Sanjay Patki sir, PK Patnaik sir, Dr. Rajamani, Harish Mehta sir, Manas Kundu sir, Yogesh Sood ji, Dr. Vikas ji, Gopal sir, Sanjeev Banerjee, Hitesh sir, Dr. Sridhar, LM Saini sir, SK Batra ji, Saket Gupta ji, Varun, Hitesh, Abhishek, Gulab, Ruchika, and Shivani. Last but not the least, the ELP and CBIP for their unflinching support. Now it's time to give a small introduction of the today's presenter. I have given a brief idea about respected Rajesh Bansal sir. He has done his graduation in electronics engineering from NIT Surathkal in 1985. He started his career as a scientist in ISRO. In 1994, he was involved in the development of the first single-phase electronics meter in India, and he has worked for very energy meter company like Vikas Hybrid, Havels, DZ Germany, Duke, Arnix. In 2004, he joined BSS Rajdhani Reliance Group as a head of meter management and energy audit. Since last 26 years, he is working in the field of energy metering, power distribution, and presently he is working as a senior executive vice president with BRPL. and he is responsible for entire network operation, including T&D losses in the network. He is widely traveled man, and he has good exposure of worldwide metering and power distribution technology. He has shared his experience with various international meter manufacturers, meter ASIC designers, utilities, and service provider to utilities in China, Taiwan, Korea, Europe, Mexico, Egypt, Romania, and with power distribution companies in Brazil, Bhutan, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, South Africa, and Nigeria. He is the member of various government committee and task force. He is a strong believer in data, and based on his meeting knowledge and utility experience, he has written a series of paper about role of energy meter and usage of meter data in various activity in power distribution business, like network health monitoring, electricity theft, consumer behavior, cost optimization, revenue protection, network fault reduction, energy audit, etc. Now, without wasting further any time, I would like to invite respected Honorable Rajesh Bansal sir, and I request Ruchi ma'am to unmute everyone for a second to welcome me with a round of applause. Bansal sir, please welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. I am also thankful to the Earthing and Lighting Protection Alliance for allowing me and for giving me an opportunity to share my views about how to leverage maximum benefits from smart metering. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Just a brief about our company where I am working presently. Can you have next slide, please? Presently, I am working with BSES Delhi. And as you know, BSES Delhi started power distribution in year 2002 when Delhi power distribution was privatized. And presently, BRPL is distributing power in 750 square kilometer area. We have more than 25 lakh consumers. Peak demand last year was 3,216 megawatt. And as you know, Delhi peak demand is more or less equal to the remaining three metro cities peak demand. And our TNT, the year which has last year, that is 1920, was in the range of 7.21%. Of course, we started this journey with a loss of 53%. Last year, we were able to achieve 7.21%. And with our group company BYP, we are serving almost 2/3 of that. Can we have next slide, please? Fine. So if you are talking about smart metering and its requirement, now that is something we have to appreciate that in today's context, smart metering is more or less becoming a must, a basic need power distribution. Why so? Because the power distribution business is changing a lot. This is how I define the power distribution. What you can see on the screen is the power distribution business is to meet each consumer safe and quality power demand with efficiency and reliability. You might have heard the phrase all consumer. I have changed it and made it each consumer. Now, what's the difference between all and each? All is, when we refer all consumer, it is from generation and system point of view. So we say have a demand of so much gigawatt and we have generation capacity or we have transmission capacity of so much gigawatt, all consumer will get supply. But the fact is, even if you have generation, even if you have transmission, even if you have infrastructure, there are few consumers who does not get the supply. So I am not seeing from the supply side, I am seeing it from the recipient side. Because what the consumer is the one who receives the power. So what I am saying is the distribution business, especially our EV utility distribution business, is to ensure each consumer he get the power, safe and quality power, efficiency and reliability. And when we say efficiency, it means cost, low loss, low operational cost, best customer services. And when we say reliability, it includes power quality, availability, both the things. And in fact, the word demand, normally as per electrical engineering, the demand is defined in kilowatt. But me, as a distribution company operation head, I always say that demand has to be defined three parameter. Of course, kilowatt, at what location, at what time. Because we have to ensure whatever consumer want, whatever quantity he want, wherever he want, whatever time he want, we have to deliver. We have to meet his requirement. And that is the basic responsibility of power distribution. And definitely the smart meter and smart grid helps DISCOMs to improve its efficiency and address the concerns issues and stakeholders. Can we have next please? And today, the power distribution business is becoming more complicated. The reason for that is we have lot of renewable. Because of renewable, we have lot of unpredictability, and we expect a higher level of consumer engagement also. So, in order to achieve this definition, what I have stated, to meet the East consumer power quality demand with efficiency and reliability, with higher level of renewable integration, with higher level of consumer engagement, and with such a factor of unpredictability, definitely we need smart system and we need smart meter. It's not a choice. It is becoming more or less mandatory. When we talk about smart meter, definitely we talk about data flow. So if I say a simplified word, what's the smart metering system is? It's a data generation, data collection, data processing, data analytics, decision and action. Let me tell you, first three things is just a cost. You are recurring a cost. You are getting nothing. By data generation, you will not get anything. By data collection, data processing, you are not going to get anything. The things which give you the return is the data analytics. So what exactly brings smartness in distribution is data analytics, and decision and action is followed by that. Next slide, please. So analytics is very important, and this is how I define what is analytics. The analytics to find objective from the reality is the analytics. I firmly believe Lord Ganesha is worshipped as the first god because he is the god of analytics. Analytics is the biggest power. We have so many gods, which all gods have their own power. But Lord Ganesha is the power, he had the power of analytics, and that's why he's considered to be the first. In simplified words, what exactly is data? Fact is, data is a reality. Data is something which has already happened. When something happens, we measure it. That's why we get data. So data is like past. And from the past, if using analytics, we can predict future, then I say it is the usage of data, and then I say it is the analytics. And all of us who can, based on the, or rather who has a power to predict the future, is like a god. He can do anything. He can do wonder. So analytics is a tool which enable to analyze the data, which is reality, which is past, and to predict the future so that you can take a correct actions so that you can achieve your objectives. Objectives can be revenue protection, objective can be network optimization, objective can be cost of power delivery. And that's power, that is the power, that is the science, which is analytics empowered you. Next slide. So it's not that the analytics you can do only when you have a smart meter. You can do analytics also. So your meter records so many things. Okay, maybe once in a month you download the meter data, you collect the data. As I said, the data is history. You collect the history, leverage the benefits, analyze the data along the time scale, and predict the future. This is what is the analytics. Can I have a next click, please? The difference is with the present system, if we do analytics this way, and if we compare the analytics with the smart meter, the difference is smart meter gives you online data. If you have a processing where you can predict online future also, then it enables empower you like anything, and which is very important, especially when I say when this power I realized when I am become the network operation head 5 years back. So in 2015, when I became network operation head, I realized that apart from theft and meter reading, there is one more big responsibility which we have in a power distribution company is to manage the power flow and network operation. Now, power flow and network operations, that is switching on and switching off network and reconfiguration of the network and other things. For that activity, you literally need online. And this online information, the online data, when we convert into information, we can manage the power flow better and we can manage our network operation better. So I personally believe, considering today's complication where we have renewable, which has unpredictability, so you have to manage your power flows. We have electrical vehicles which are moving, the load is not static, so you have to manage your network. In under such conditions, definitely smart meter or smart grid enables to have online data, and it also enables you to leverage that data and have the higher reliability and efficiency in the network. Next slide, please. So, power of data, I am a firm believer, and the reason for that is we are able to bring down our losses from 52% to 7.2%. Our reliability factor, which used to be 76%, has now come to 99.96%. Our asset failure is less than 1%. Today, India is ranked when the Delhi joint, the World Bank assessed the power situation in Mumbai and Delhi. And 4 years back, Delhi, they are also doing the audit of Delhi. And today, India is ranked as second as far as electricity parameter is concerned, which is, there are many European and American countries which are far below the rank of second. And it helped us to reduce our OPEX cost, load management. So based on these experience, I was able to, gather my courage, share, and I am sharing my detailed views about how to leverage the maximum benefit from the smart. Next slide, please. So before we go for the word this smart meter, normally, the word smartness has become more popular because of the smartphones. And there is no doubt, there is nothing wrong to compare a smart meter with a smartphone. I normally give an example. 3 decades back, we used to have a black phone with a dial. And if you remember, we used to have a black meter with a dial. And both of the things were replaced by the digital. So we had digital phone and digital meters. And then we had mobile phones, and similarly, we had our meters with AMR. And today we are talking about smartphones. And on the other hand, parallelly, we are talking about smart. But the first question and the most important question is, why smartphones are so popular? Everybody has a smartphone. Now it is unthinkable to have a life without smartphone. But why, how these smartphones are helping us? Now, what I mean by this question is it the smartphone which is helping us, or is it the smart apps on the phone which are helping? Certainly, you will agree. You are having a smartphone because of the smart apps. Apps like Facebook, apps like Google, apps like WhatsApp, apps like internet, apps like right now we are discussing over the phone or over the things. This has made smartphone popular. So, if we want to leverage benefit out of the smart meter, can we leverage benefit without smart apps on the smartphone or smart meters? So, first and the foremost is I strongly believe the smartphone alone is not enough. Just having the smart meter alone is not enough. Smart meter is a tool, but smart app is what which provide you the solution. So just having smart meter may give you some benefit, but you cannot leverage maximum benefit unless and understand very clearly that it is not the smart device alone which brings the smartness, but it is the smart apps which helps to make us smarter. And of course, to run the smart app, you need the. So we can't say just having the smartphones alone, the smart meters alone, our network becomes smart. So we parallelly definitely need smart apps. So when we talk about as a utility person or as a supplier of the smart products or as a system integrator or as a solution provider, unless and until we develop smart apps, we cannot leverage benefit out of smart metering. This is my first point. I'm very clear about that. Because smart meter is a tool, it's not a solution. The smart meter and smart apps, when they join together, of course, with the smart person, then it becomes solution. It's like, if I give a laptop to a person, does he become intelligent? Does he become an engineer? No. Of course, he needs the apps and he needs the knowledge of that. So then he can become an engineer. So this is first thing I want to say. Let's go to the next slide, please. And for smart metering is huge investment. And unless and until we leverage the maximum benefit, that only we get the success. Otherwise, a disaster. And that's the basic theme of this presentation. We have to have maximum benefit out of it because it's a huge investment. Next slide, please. So the very purpose of smart metering is to make the operation smart. Apart from the smart device, we need smart applications. Smart metering applications should address utility concerns, issues, and expectations. Now, all of us know the utility concerns. The utility concerns are cost of power, uh, revenue leakage, revenue collection, technical losses, uh, yeah, network configuration, failure of failure of assets. So these are the things. On other hand, there are expectations like maximum integration of renewable, consumer and consumer services. So smart metering application will address the utility concern and issues, but we have to define a roadmap. And there are two roadmaps which I propose. Roadmap number one is more or less to the enablers, related to the tools, which includes a roadmap to define what exact meter you want or what exactly sensors you want. I strongly believe smart meter alone are not enough if you really want to exploit the entire benefit of the smart system. You need, apart from meter, you need a lot of sensors. So first thing is you have to make a roadmap. What exactly meter I need, what exactly sensors I need, and what are the parameters these measuring instruments will measure, how the data will be. I will give you one simple example. You can measure QVH by three different methods. You should know whether I should measure QVH by the Pythagoras sum, whether I should measure QVH by multiplying V and I, and so on. You should exactly know what parameter you want, what type of sensors you want, and what data you want, and how those will be computed, and what should be the accuracy level. So this is the first roadmap one should draw when you plan for the smart metering. And the second roadmap is about the application. That whatever data you are getting, how it is correlated to with your objective of installing the smart meter. If the objective is just applying the government directive, it's a different issue. But if you have an objective, okay, I will do demand side management, I will make my network efficient, I will reduce my losses, then you should know how your data and objectives are correlated, whether there is a relation between them or not. And so, unless until you are clear, you are not able to identify what exact data you want. And so, you should know your objectives, you should know your hardware and data, you should know the relation between them. Next slide, please. And I always, without validation process, uh, you cannot be sure that you will get the desired result. So validation is another thing which is critical. And in fact, I would say the roadmap number three should be what will be the validation process. And I will cover validation in brief in the next slide. So talking about the roadmap and planning for the smart metering, you can go to the next slide. I strongly recommend a utility should have their own team. I believe the utility operations and the criticalness, the finer aspect of the distribution business. The best is utility engineers, our engineers understand this. And in fact, the utility own engineer know what is their grievances, what is their issues, what is their concerns. I strongly believe that utility should have their own. That does not should know communication. Does not mean that they should know entire. I'm saying a strong apex team uh, is responsible for the entire smart metering project, who understand the speed and expectations, short term also and long term also. Short term can be just a meter reading and loss reduction. Long term can be demand side management, network optimization, cost of power reduction. And this team, of course, need a lot of training. They have to enhance their smartness. They have to have a basics about meters, about the analytics. They should plan out what meter they need and what devices they need and what application they are going to develop so that they can address their issues. Definitely better understanding about the smart meter feature generation, how the measurements can go wrong, where the system can go wrong. Let me tell you, on the face, we always see the system right. But the problem is when there is an issue and something goes wrong, if we can predict advance, help us in validation and help us to take care of the things. So I strongly believe validation is not only the things is working normal, validation also how the thing behave under abnormal condition, which is most critical. Uh, for example, drive a car, don't need airbags. Do we need airbags in a car? Do we need a seat belt to drive a car? Do we need a helmet to drive a scooter? No. These are for the utilities. So when we make a specification, when we make a system, we should consider the utilities. Without considering the utility, the system is always to failure, and if there is a failure, very difficult to come out of that. And then once the entire understand, develop application and start drawing on the existing. Don't wait for the. If you feel meter data can be used to detect theft, you still have the meter. Use them. Start using. If you feel you can predict your power demand at Earth, you still have that data. Start using. So start playing with the data. Enjoy the power analytics. Start making your logics, and you will enjoy it. And you can correlate your data with. Next slide, please. So typical utility objectives, which I feel is reducing capex and opex, that is the cost of supply, demand curve management, network optimization, reduce technical losses, revenue enhancement and leakage, power reliability and faster outage management, renewable energy, increasing customer satisfaction. Lot of people they say they are installing smart meter for meter reading activity. Then I can just say it's like buying an iPhone to take photographs. That cannot be the objective. That is the activity. Objective is to gain. Meter reading remotely can be an activity. It cannot be an objective. So we should have a well-defined objective. The objective is something like cost of supply. Objective can be network optimization. Objective can be power faster outage management. That should be the objective. Just meter reading. Sorry, my views are different. And of course, safety is the biggest objective. If you install smart meter and correlate and enhance the safety, I think that is how we can give the maximum benefit out of it. This is my view. So define your objective very clear. A lot of people say, okay, I have installed the smart meter, I can do this, I can do that. No, you should not say I can. You define it. I will do this. That. Next slide, please. You can skip next, can we? So my first purpose is, you can get to the next slide. You should have a dedicated team, people from various, prepare roadmap implementation, define your objective, short term, long term. I give you an example. In yes, we have 7.2% loss. Lot of people, lot of utility are installing smart meter to reduce loss. But that cannot be an objective for us. We are already at. But to reduce the technical loss is a big objective. To bring operational efficiency in my network is a big objective. So objective can be different, but we should define it. And third thing is proposal 2 my work and operation can be given to vendor, not the responsibility and accountability. So this is step 1. Slide please. As I said, meter can do so many things. Meter can do a lot of things. And this is a circle where we can see so many things meter can do. Right from tariff, SLA, information to the customer, supply, cash box, loading optimization, network planning, outage. Now you should choose your objective out of it. Okay.
Respected sir, there is some echo in your voice. I think your mic is away from you.
Uh, let me check. Okay.
Now it's okay.
So we should select out of such. We should define our objectives and various applications which can improve safety, load management, savvy, power quality. Can we have next slide, please? Or maybe the 2 slides next we can go. So this is how. Can we have next step 01? Now here I am saying is there is no need. Sorry, step 01. Just go back. Look, it's not only you have to plan smart metering only for the consumer meter. You should plan for the entire. It can be feeder meter, it can be audit meter, it can be special application meter, it can be meter on your grid, and so on. So you should plan smart metering for the entire, including the specification, parameters, feature, installation method, reading method, reliability, threat protection. That should be the part of the entire role. So the smart meter specification, I would like to specify. We are so habitual of the conventional static meter that we have so many anti-theft features and other things. And we are simply copying them in smart meter. Let me tell you, smart meter has its own capability and it can handle so many things. So it's no, we have to use our own thing, and once we understand, we will find that there is no need to simply copy the meter. Similarly, lot of people they use the approved vendor list which was published in 2004 by BS. Not most of these vendors are not applicable for the smart meters. So we should be. And third thing is, lot of people, a lot of meter companies, they say you can do so many programming, you can do remote programming and so many things using a smart meter communication system. I just want them, if you have too many emergency gates or eventualities or features, those gates can be used by thieves to enter into your system. Be careful. If you can design a system and you are so sure that next 10 years I don't to change anything, that is the idea. So restrict too many flexibility is dangerous also. And most important is, as I said, plan your what parameters, what methods, what logics, what events you have planned in the meter, and you are going to use this for next 10 years. And still I found.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm getting so many messages. People are not getting your voice properly.
Okay, let me try another one. Hello, is I audible now?
Sir, loud and clear this time.
Fine. So Can you have next slide, please? And bit faster, please. So apart from your meter specification, you should define the communication. Okay, this is an old slide where I have shown various type of communication which we have used, but you can always decide. Now there is no need to have multiple communication methods. You can have a single communication method. Can you please go to the next slide? The next slide is about your philosophy for the analytics. Now that is very important, your philosophy for the analytics. Now, definitely the purpose is to enhance the operational efficiency and appreciate the power of data. I have, in my company, I have come out with the two concepts, the concept of abnormality and the concept of uniformity. In simple word, concept of abnormality is to identify what I do not want. Say, for example, I do not. So this is the concept of abnormality. Anything which is undesirable, if it is happening, I should detect so that I can prevent it does not happen in the future. This is what I say the concept of abnormality. And what is the concept of uniformity? Concept of uniformity is I want the things to happen in a particular way. If it is happening in a particular way, or if there is a deviation, what is the deviation? Here, concept of uniformity is from the positive point of view, and concept of abnormality is from the negative point of view. So I use the concept of abnormality for loss reduction, for revenue collection, and other things. I use the concept of uniformity for my network of purpose. Next. So as I said, concept of normality is, why a thing has gone wrong, what has gone wrong, when has gone wrong, where it has gone wrong, analyze to find the cause. This helps us so that we can prevent the things to happen in the future. If anybody do a theft, let me tell you, we can identify abnormality and can correlate why this abnormality has happened. Cause of theft, how it is taking place, and then definitely
Sir, again some signal issue at your end. Sir, some signal issue at your end. Not getting the voice properly.
Let me try my last tool, which I had. I am just switching my.
I hope there is no issue of any tool. There is some issues of network. Bandwidth problem may be there.
I can just try to switch my Wi-Fi. Rajesh, Dr. Rajesh, I just tried with another number. Can you allow me to speak?
Yes, yes, please.
Will you allow me?
Please. Ruchika ma'am, please allow.
Hello, is it better now?
Please. It is better. It is better. Please continue, sir.
Hello.
Sir, it is better now.
Yeah. So I was just explaining the concept of abnormality. Hello. Is I'm audible now?
Yes, sir. Now you are.
Okay. So I was just explaining the concept of abnormality, where we find what has gone wrong, when it has gone wrong, where it has gone wrong, and the reasons. And this helps us a lot in especially handling the failures, handling the thefts, and handling the the failure of the equipments or fault which are going to come. And can we have next, please? And if we have well-defined set of logics, we can generate the events. That means before any event take place, how the system behave, and based on that, we can define that this thing is going to happen shortly. The next is the concept of uniformity, which I use for the asset optimization. You can see in the next slide. Asset optimization is the most important thing because in a company, especially in company in Delhi, where our winter demand and the summer demand, there is a ratio of almost 1:5. Now, if I, please next slide, please. If I plan anything for the peak, that means I will able to use my capacity for few hours in the year, but rest of the time my fixed investment will be very high, my fixed losses will be very high, and especially during the non-peak time my voltages will be very high. So it's a very typical question. And if we companies we plan for the average loading, then certainly we are going to face the problem during the peak. So the asset optimization concept is very important, and where the consumer demand varies with time and season and locations, we have to ensure that neither we have over capacity nor we have under capacity, as over and under capacity both affects the technical losses, it also affects the failures, it also affects the quality of the power, and it also affects the cost of power. So this is where we have a plan to use our smart grid and smart meters for asset optimization. So maybe next page, please. Next place, please. Uh, okay. Can we go to the next? Yeah. Now, there is one thing, just a line back. Ensuring suitability. Before validation process, please go back. Can you go to the slide number 20? Yeah, this is, yeah, next. One up. Okay. Meanwhile, he will come to that particular slide. Slide number 26, if you can come, it will be easier. We have to ensure that we can leverage the maximum benefit out of this thing, because the investments are very high, and we have to ensure that with such a huge investment there should not be any failure in future, because if the things fail, and then it can be, cost wise and investment wise, it can be a disaster for everybody. So the validation is another important aspect which we have to see. Next slide, please. Okay, you have gone back to the.
Abhishek, slide number 26, please.
Can you come to 28 now?
28.
Yeah, please make it full. Fine.
Fine.
So the point question is, I found there are a lot of myths which are related to the validation of smart metering system. Lot of people feel that, okay, my system, my smart meter are complying BIS, so it is perfect. Do all of us feel that just complying BIS is enough? I personally believe meeting BIS is the minimum requirement. It cannot be the ultimate requirement. So this is a big myth when we talk about validation, to test the system, especially the meter, against the BIS, and that's it. No. Let me tell you, anybody who is making the meter, that testing he is doing. So that is not enough. That is the minimal. Second key question is, who should do the validation? Is it the meter provider, the system integrator, or the utility? And most important thing is, this is not a product. This is a system. This is not just a product, because BIS normally talk about the product. They don't talk about much about the system. So who should do the validation? Is it the meter provider, the system integrator, or the utility? And key question is, who knows the objective, and if the system fail to deliver, who will suffer the most? In brief, I would like to say the utilities should be ready to do a strong validation. That does not mean the system integrator, the meter provider, they should not do should not do the validation. They should do the validation of their aspect. But remember, when we talk about an integrated system, if an integrated system has 4 components, it may be that all the 4 are working perfectly, but once you integrate, they may not work perfectly. So it is very, very important. The validation process has to be checked, has to be ensured that it is working perfectly. Because in future, if we find some problem, then it will be very, very difficult to to correct the things. Validation can be, you have to have a complete validation process. It can be about the data. It can be about how the alerts and computation and logics are working. It can be about the data processing, communication, fidelity, and SLA. So for example, if you're talking about smart metering and purpose is protection, then the time gap is very, very important. Even if the system has generated a command, even if the server has generated a command, and the command reaches after 2 seconds, entire system will not work. Entire system will fail. You may need a command to be processed within few milliseconds. So what is the time you need? What should be the fidelity of that? What should be the priority of that? That you understand better, rather than the signal process, the one who has made the sensor, or the one who has given the communication system. So one has to understand very well, what is my objective, what is my application, what type of communication I need, what type of fidelity I need, what type of SLA I need, what type of logic I need, what type of working I need, and to ensure that that meets the actual requirement. And malfunctioning is something different. Even if a delay in a signal can be fiasco, can be a havoc for a smart grid system, or for the application for which you have desired the thing. So we should not regret that we didn't have a strong validation system. Avoid your regrets. Have a very good validation system. I would like to quote something without going into specifics, and rather I apologize in advance. I have no intent to quote this particular incident, but I feel to understand what I am saying. So I just quote this particular incident. All of us know, in one of the state, there was one command was gone to the meter, almost 12 lakhs meter, to switch off. So there was a command to switch off the meter. Now, intentionally, unintentionally, I will not go into it. And because of that command, the meter start getting switch off. But after some time, they realized that there was no such command to switch off the meter. I am not going that who has given the command, why the command was given. But if there is a command to switch off 12 lakhs meter, and if after 1 hour we find that not the entire 12 lakh, but some percentage of meter are switched off, I would say it is a validation test where it has been proved that if we give a command to so many meters, say a 1 million meter, and say out of 1 million, only 2 lakhs have switched off, what you will say? Suppose if there is an installation of 1 crore meter, and we have suddenly a power, one of the power plant has failed, and we have to switch off 10% of the load. That is the smartness that our server has identified. These 10% consumer, they are non-priority consumer, they are defaulters, this thing. Let's switch them off. And based on that, the server has given a command. Okay, switch off all the 10 million, this 1 million consumer out of the 10 million, 10% load will reduce. The server has given the command. After 1 hour, you find out of the 10 lakh, only 2 lakh have switched off. Will you say your system is smart? In spite of having all the application, in spite of all the logics, all the objectives, the purpose is not solved. And suddenly, after 2 hours, you find that the power generation, the generator is now on and enough power is available. You give another command after 2 hours. Okay, whatever I have switched off, let's restore back. Let's restore the supply. You find after 6 hours, only 50% is restored. The entire smartness has gone into vain. Entire system has collapsed. So we should see such things. That is very, very important. Let me tell you, please understand, again, I repeat, system can work. Each component can work in isolation. But once it is integrated, once it is masked, once it is in volume, whether it will work as per your desire, as per your requirement, you have to ensure beforehand. In 2014, I was in US. I was with PG&E. In fact, I was there on a training on smart metering, and we had a thunderstorm, a very, very severe thunderstorm, and there was a power outage. Next day, we asked how many percentage of meter has given the message that there is a power failure. You will be shocked. 2.5%. Although 100% meter are supposed to give a message that there is a, what we say, the last gaps, there is an outage. Now, such type of validation, one can say it is difficult to do. I can understand it is difficult to do validation, but if you could have done it and have taken a corrective action, it is better. So validation is most important if you want to leverage your this thing. And next slide, please. So the validation, I normally say, has a two part. You can see in the bottom. Validation is doing what it's supposed to do the validation, what it is supposed to do, and do the validation under critical condition, under undesirable, under condition when a system can go wrong, how the system behave. Normally, people do the first part, what it is supposed to do. They don't do the second part. But I feel second part is equally critical. I tell you one thing, if on 31st December night, almost at around 12 midnight, just before 12 midnight, a meter has to do so many things. It has to correct the clock, it has to save the data, the month is closing, the year is closing, it to do, and suddenly power fail. You will find the meter data may get corrupted. Now, this is what we have to check whether it will corrupt or not. A 25 rupees watch and a Rado watch give you the same time. A 25 rupees meter, okay, not 25, 250 rupees meter and a 2500 rupees meter from a reliable company will give you same accuracy of energy measurement. Just ensuring accuracy is not enough. There are much more things which we have to understand. Next slide, please. Okay, now I will give you one example. When I say, a lot of people say that, okay, I am just talking and how we can take benefit out of the smart meter, how the objectives are defined, and I'm just giving one example. Next slide, please. Next, please. I'm just giving one example. Now, I have taken a target. This is how you should make the objective target. I have taken a target that I have to enhance my operation efficiency. Now, when I say I have to enhance my operation efficiency, what all I will do? I will do my operational efficiency enhancement. That means lower faulties, lower faults, lower outages, lower equipment failure, and my power quality should be good. So these are my target. My technical loss should be lower. There should not be any overloading. There should not be any idling of the equipment. And the lower loss, especially both at the peak time and the lower peak time. I also have a target when I talk about overall, the umbrella objective is enhancing network operation. My capex should be minimum. When I say minimum means for a given capex, I should get the maximum benefit. My preventive cost should be lower and my fast outage should be the, any outage, I should be able to manage it in a faster way. Now, these are my objective. These are the things. Now, to do that, I have made a simple formula, a 3-step formula. I will try to keep the loading near to the ideal value of the asset capacity. So suppose I have a wire, I have a transformer of 1000 kVA. So I feel my maximum efficiency or the best efficiency will be around 45%. So this is my target. I have to keep my loading around 45%. The second is, if there is a deviation in voltage and quality parameter, it indicates there is a stress. The first one is the concept of uniformity. The second one is the concept of abnormality. So I will continuously watch. And if there are more to solve the problem of loading and other thing, if I keep on adding the asset, that is not the best way. That is not the efficient way. Because rather than adding the asset, I should look for the underloaded assets. Or when I add the asset, my capex goes up, my no load losses goes up. So these are the three thumb rules I will use and make it the data which I am getting into a smarter way. How I will do it a smarter way, you can see in the next slide. So the smarter way I have this, what I have, make an analogy for that is, I will work like a traffic police. My entire network team work like a traffic police. Traffic is load and the roads are my network. So if I see on a particular road, there is a more traffic, I try to divert my load onto the another set of wire. And this I am doing is continuously. And for that, I need online data. So I have to ensure the road should be smooth. I have to ensure all the roads have equal traffic. I have to ensure if there is an accident on the road, if there is an accident on the wire, the entire traffic is equally diverted on the remaining set of wire. And my traffic police, my network engineers are like my traffic police. This is the model I have made. You can make your own model. It's not that you have to copy that. And this is the model I will follow, so that for this, do I need only smart meter or I need the smart RMUs and smart switch gear also? Certainly I need smart RMU and smart switch gear also. And this is the concept we have tried and we are able to do it without investing on the wire, poles and transformers. By making the smarter switch gears and some sensors on the wire, we are able to correlate, we are able to make the loading uniform. The bell curve of the loading of assets, some were underloaded, some were overloaded. Now the bell curve has squeezed, and because of that, our technical loss has gone down, our failures has gone down, our faults has gone down, and definitely preventive has gone down, and so on, and the reliability has gone up. So this is how I want to bring smartness. You may find it bit, funny that I'm talking about network engineer working as a traffic police, but this is the concept we want. And based on this concept, now we have gone other way, what and how to bring the smartness into the network. Next slide, please. It is more or less what I have said. So, if the road traffic is going up, can we keep on adding the road? No, it's not possible, especially in Delhi when there is no space. So the only way left is to use our existing cable roads in a smarter way. And that is the purpose of installing the smart grids, not just meter reading alone. It is far beyond that. Next, please. So second aspect after the network optimization is my technical losses. So I have checked why I have technical losses. I have fixed type losses, I have current based losses. Fixed type is because of the instrument, no load loss, and the current base is, which is the current base loss. And for the current base, my principle is simple. Go for the word balancing, balancing, balancing. The concept of uniformity. Act like a traffic police. If you have 6 wire, if you have 6 feeder, all the 6 feeder should have same load. Each feeder has 3 phase, all the 3 phase should have same load. If I can make uniformity, I will working at the lowest loss and the best efficiency. It's a simple mathematics, everybody will agree. Now that is my target, not my target that I have to keep load within the capacity of the network. No, my target is, no, of course I have to ensure it is within the capacity. It should be near to the ideal value and it should be equal in all the wire. And I should not invest much on the asset, rather than I take the asset I should fully use the asset capacity. That is my target. So this is what I say, this thing. Can we have next slide, please? This is about the LLF factor. It's more, going into the detail. And this is how we do the calculation continuously and try to bring the value near to each other. You can skip 2-3 slides, please. There is a GIS map. If you can go to that slide, 3 slides. Next to this. Yeah. So there is a map was there. There was a map. Come on, man. There was a map. You have gone far ahead. You have gone far ahead. Yeah. Now, if you see this map, what we continuously do is, suppose there is a transformer which is overloaded. So what we earlier method was, if there is a overloading, just replace the transformer with a higher capacity or put a new transformer. That's all. Simple. Everybody is doing that. Now we have stopped doing that. If there is a transformer is overloaded, look into the next 500 meter. If you just make a click, look into the next 500 meter, which transformer is underloaded. Can we transfer the load from there? And that's what we are doing. So you are saving a transformer, you are saving your no load, you are loading your underloaded transformer, and you are reducing your technical losses. So this is what we say it brings the smartness. Uh, Rajesh, Dr. Rajesh, it's already 6:13. Can you allow me for next 10 minutes, please, if it is okay?
Continue. Sir, please continue.
Yeah. So please go to the next slide. Rather, just skip 3 slides. Yeah, next to this. Fine, just hold. So you can see that's the conventional method, and versus the smart planning. The smart planning is, as I said, if there is a overloading, we look for the what is underloaded below 40%. Then look for the feeders, which is better to lay feeder from the one which is underloaded, and rather than which is overloaded and putting a new transformer, adding the no load losses, especially in winter when there is no load and so on. What I have realized is, if you have more wire, it is better than having more transformers, because at least wire has no load loss. And if you have more feeder, more parallel feeder, you are dividing the current. So look into that direction rather than looking into the assets which has the no load, higher no load loss. And definitely, if you install more DT and other thing, then you need more space also. So this is how the smart metering and smart grid can help you to do the better planning. So next slide, please. Similarly, if you keep on monitoring, I think they have missed the slide. Uh, uh, if you just keep on monitoring what is the voltage at the sending end, suppose you have a grid, and at the grid you have 11 kV feeder going up to the transformer. So if you check what is the voltage at the 11 kV bus of the grid versus the versus the HT voltage of the transformer, there will be some drop, has to be, because there is a drop on the wire. But is that drop appreciable? If the drop is appreciable, means your network is under stress. So when we always put the sensors in pair, the sending end voltage and the receiving end voltage, the sending end harmonics level, the receiving end harmonics level. If there is a substantial change, that shows clearly the network is under stress. It's a beautiful indication which keeps on telling you the network is under stress. And I have my empirical formula. The percentage drop is equivalent to percentage technical loss. So when people say we get 180 volt, I am shocked. If your DT, if your system has 240 volt and the consumer is getting 180 volt, means there is a drop of 25%. As per me, then there is a technical loss of 25%. It cannot be. You cannot have a voltage less than 220, 210 or so. If it is so, your losses will be enormous, and it is not because of theft. Let me tell you, it is not at all because of theft. It is the sad part. We always feel that the losses are because of theft. No, if your consumer is getting 180 volt, then it is all because of technical. And shortly you will have some fire or some sparking in that network. So is it possible that our friend who is sharing the presentation, can he is able to share, or shall I just?
Sir,
Sir,
sorry.
yes.
Sorry, sir. Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute.
So this is one example. What I wanted to give through this example. Maybe you can continue in this way only if you are finding a full slide as a problem. Just go to the slide number 42. Yeah. Yeah. So, as I said, this is one example. Why I have given this example, the purpose is when you define objective, it is not just a line. You have to define the complete roadmap. This is my objective. These are my activities. This is how I will achieve the objective. And this is how, or this is what I need the smartness. And then define what sensors you need, what meters you need, what will be the relation, what type of processing, what type of type response. And once you have the paper, then go forward. Not that first install the meter and then look for what all I can do. Certainly, you can do that way also, but define your document beforehand. It will help you. Uh, Maybe next slide, please. Slide number 44. So you can use objective can be loss reduction. As I said, I am just giving the example. I will not tell you how to do it because one example I have already given. And this is, you can see our journey, our other company, which is started at 62%. And this year they have closed at 7.32%. And let me tell you, the data analysis has played a big role in the entire journey. And in 2006 at BSES, we started collecting the data by sending our meter reader with handheld device, electronically transferring the entire data. I'm not saying only the billing data, the entire data, and then processing it. I'm talking about 2006. And maybe we were the first one in the world without AMR who is collecting all the data. You may not believe it, but let me tell you, in 2006, 75 of the world was still having induction meters. So next is you can manage your demand curve. I think this is one of the big objective, and the future you will need it badly. Can you go to 2 slides further? 47. Yeah, so you have to manage your demand curve, where again the smart meter can play a big role. How they can do is, this is slightly covered in the presentation, but because of the time, I will not go it. Sociology of technology is another factor where I am talking about the renewable power generation and integration with the smart this thing, where again the smart meter can play a big role, a very big role, and this is the future which will be there. Today we may not appreciate the need for it, but let me tell you, after 4 or 5 years, this will be the biggest application with what I foresee in the coming days. Today we see the biggest application as meter data downloading, bill collection, revenue collection, and loss. I am sure with time, within 4 or 5 years, most of the utility, once they have the losses in single digit, then network optimization, demand curve management, renewable power integration, these will be our key objectives. And this thing. Can we go to the slide number 50? One more slide. Yeah, one more slide. Down, please. Down, one more down. One more down. Now I am coming to the conclusion side. I strongly believe those who want to work in a smart in the project of smart metering or smart grid system, as I always recommend, that all the utility they should have their own team, and those teams they should be trained. Uh, it may be that they have good knowledge about the system. If they already have a knowledge, it's okay. But these are few modules, few working, which I have correlated and I have made a paper for my internal reference and for those who ask me to share my experience and my knowledge. Some basic trainings, modules. For example, first and foremost is about the working principle of energy meters, about the theft, especially in Indian context, African context, and in Southeast Asia context. And in fact, there are, I tell you, uh, wherever I have visited almost all the 6 continents. I found theft is an issue at a lot of places, including in Europe also, and including Latin America also, and so on. Energy audit and usage of energy meter, that is basic analytics, and how to make the energy meter roadmap. This is very, very important. We do a lot of mistake. If I ask one question, why the utility change their specs every year? if we buy a meter for 10 years and if we change the specification every year, that shows there is some gap. So that's why preparing, planning a roadmap is very important, because if you have so many models of meters, you cannot integrate. So it is better you think, plan, and let's have the same specification for few years. I will not say for the entire 10 years, but few years. Then about the expectations and objectives, where we should talk about demand curve management and network efficiency, revenue protection, how to achieve, how the meter will help, how the data will help, how the sensors will help, what will be the logic, what will be my methodology, how I will use them, and how will measure them, this thing. And then advanced application like GIS-based utility operations, futuristic trends in energy metering, use of artificial intelligence in the machine. So all these modules, I feel, are important if you want to leverage the maximum benefit out of the smart metering. And whether you buy the smart apps or this thing, still you need the logic, still you need the knowledge. Let me tell you, if you want to play in a share market, unless until you understand share, you cannot just buy because you have bought a app for how to invest in the share market. If you just rely on the app, you will collapse. So you understand better about your requirement. I am does not say that you make your own apps. You should know what the app developer is doing and how, or whether the app is suitable, or what tailor or what modification or something dedicated to be done for your app, so that it becomes suitable for you. So your knowledge is this thing. In fact, I would say these training modules are not only for utility engineer, even these are for those who want to develop apps, who want to make smart apps, who want to be system integrator, who want to be service provider. They should also understand equally, because it is true for everybody. It is true for everybody. If you want to make your smart metering or smart grid as a career, whether you are a service provider, whether you are an integrator, whether you are a smart app developer, or whether you are a utility, it is must for everybody. Next slide, please. Okay. So the next is how the smart meter can be used for safety. That is a very, very important thing. We normally ignore the safety. World over, the cause of unnatural death, if we talk, the first is road accident and second is the fire. And in fire, one of the major contribution is the electricity also. So we should know how to enhance the safety. As I said, this is a universal objective and the most critical objective. Incidentally, this is not given that much importance, but that is very important. And another training module which a lot of people are looking for and is of need and which should be there is about the validation. I tried once validation module. I have one complete training, or not training, I would say a complete document how to validate static meters. I am working on how to validate smart metering system, not product, not meter. Meter anybody can do the system, but I need support, and in fact, I will look for IP and other member. And validation is something which is very, very critical, and there should be a proper training to that. Next slide, please. So I am concluding. First step toward the smart metering is identifying objectives and making the roadmap. Smart meter alone are not sufficient. Utility can sublet their work installation, but not the responsibility and accountability. You need smart apps. There is a big business opportunity. Utility should have a dedicated team to make roadmap, plan procurement, coordinate apps development, and define logic. The concept of abnormality and uniformity, it has worked for me. I have shared with many utilities. I got feedback from many utilities, and this concept I developed way back in 2009. And they have also they are able to reap benefit out of these two concepts by practicing them. Of course, people have modified this concept in their own way, but I still call them the concept of uniformity and concept of abnormality. Both the short-term and long-term objectives should be well-defined and covered in roadmap. The testing system capabilities at the protect stage, that is the validation point, and to have a successful smart grid project, training about the basic device usage validation of system capability is must. Can we have next slide, please? The most important slide, a slide about the thank you. Thank you to all. I am sorry there was some technical issues. Incidentally, I know about the meter, but I am still very poor on the working on computer and laptops. And if you believe that in knowledge sharing and or if you want to know more, you are free to contact me. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajesh, and thank you to everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, respected sir. It was mind-blowing, motivating presentation, full of energy despite various technical glitches. Thank you very much, sir. And congratulations to you and your company for reducing your losses from 52 to 7.2%. Salute to you, your enthusiasm, your motivation, and congratulations. Before I go for the question, you just have a rest for 2-3 minutes, and I'm going to invite respected Honorable Wahi Saab, please say a few words before I go for the question answer session. Kindly unmute Wahi Saab and say a few words.
Are you
before
getting my voice?
Yes.
Are you getting my voice right? Hello?
Yes, I am getting, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. This is the sixth webinar in series, very rightly said by you, Rajesh. And hats off to you and your team members. You are doing really a wonderful job because knowledge dissemination is a very important task and very important area, which is for the benefit of the professional, benefit of the country. And you are inviting Mr. Rajesh Bansal. I know Bansal sir very well for years on. I tell you, he is a person, I can rate him as the top person in the world on meters. The knowledge he possesses, nobody possesses in the world. And he is an authority. He has traveled a lot, gone to the various countries for dissemination of knowledge, had various training programs, and he did a lot of work for Central Board of Irrigation of Power. He was the chairman of the subcommittee, which was on static meters. He worked a lot on that for 1 year, and then and the second part also the smart meters. So he is really a very dedicated engineer, you see, available in the country. And I think I simply have to request all of you that we take advantage of his extraordinary knowledge with him, which will be really useful for us, whether it is smart meter, any other problem. And he, as is quoted, that we taking advantage of all this, we have brought the losses of the utility, this Reliance and BSES, from 62 to 7.2%. It is a miracle, I tell you. And not that once he has said we were the top in the world, he is the man behind. He is the man behind. I don't mince my words. He is the man behind who really did a wonderful job for his utility, and even still right now he is contributing a wonderful manner. And he has very rightly talked about the smart meters, about the validation aspects, about the other aspects, how to reduce losses, how to increase efficiency. And he has quoted the practical examples, and he's really cautioned us also certain areas, you see, about validation, that in case we don't validate, see, there is going to be problems, and then the investment on smart meters will go waste. So that is all the caution areas what he has told us. We have to take care. And really I don't have words for his knowledge contribution, and really the way he has made the presentation today. And other thing which the last have just appreciate, Rajesh, you are continuously working hard in seeing that all the knowledge is disseminated excellently on all the subjects by and by. I think, as you very rightly said, you will cover the total spectrum of power sector subjects. Hats off to you, and all my best wishes, and best
Thank
wishes
you,
to
sir.
all the delegates you see who are listening
Thank you very
this presentation. Well done. Thank you so much.
much.
Thank you once again.
Respected Bansal, sir, I would like to start small question I have noted down. Should I start?
Yeah, please.
My very first question is about CA Regulation 2019 about installation and operations of meter, and that is which is the basically amendment of Regulation 2006. So far, consumer meter is concerned, they have written one line as decided by the appropriate commission. Why they have kept that thing open? why they emphasis on the smart meters to get more leverage at the end of discom.
No, sorry, I'm not able to understand the question exactly.
The question is that if you look at the regulation 2019 of CA, that is about installation of operation of meters,
Yeah, yeah.
and they have specified meters for generating station, they have specified meter for transmission and distribution system, they have given some specification for interconnecting transformers also, but they have kept open for consumers distribution meters, single phase meter. I think that should be smart meters should be written there to make more clarity on the regulation.
See, definitely the regulations, standards, and other things they helps you, but these are your guidelines. And I would say, as far as smart meter is concerned, you are the best one who can decide what should be the standard and what should be the specification. You are the best one. Don't confine yourself, don't limit yourself by the standards. The standards are just guideline. I will ask one question in other way. How many of us buy the TV which is BIS compliance? Or how many
True.
of the vehicles they are there in the market which are BIS compliance?
Right,
See,
right. There are basic.
they have raised their level. They have raised their bar. Today they
Okay.
have talked about the safety. They do the impact test. Okay, state bang on the wall, state bang on the rock. Then see what will happen. So we have to make our system so rigid and so on. And once we talk about the smart metering, now the scope. Okay, the old meter. When we talk about induction meter, the sole purpose was to raise a bill. The sole purpose, the only purpose why we had the disc type meter, the revolving disc type, Ferrari meter or induction meter or electromechanical meter, just to raise the bill. Today, the meter scope has gone far. So that far you cannot limit into a words. That is up to your requirement, that is up to your objective. So in fact, we should be thankful. CA has not bounded us. They have left us open. And we are the distribution company are the best one. I found
Okay.
sometimes, the instrument manufacturer, they feel, no, that is a wider scope and we have so many products and so on. Okay, you have to be. You have to be. There's nothing wrong because whatever is the requirement, you have to provide.
Yes, sir. Sir, in your presentation, you have mentioned about you expressed very beautifully that there's two things: smart instrument and smart application. In 5 years down the line, if you have to give some new application to the smart meter, what that application would be? I just want to know what is your future thought for that one, apart from the already available applications in the meters.
Let me tell you, the smart application, what they are talking about in the meter, there is no application. As
Okay.
per me, in smart meter, there is no application. Let me tell you, I gave you example of traffic police. Please show me in which meter there is the application of traffic police. The smart traffic police for managing the load. Forget
Right.
about 5 years. See, application cannot be in a device. Application has to be at the system level. There is a big confusion about application, max computation of maximum demand or computation of TOD. These are not the application, or mating the load curve. These are not the application. These are the events. These are the way to present the data.
Okay.
Analytics is far beyond making a histogram or a bar chart is not analytics. It is just a representation of the data. You cannot call that as a data application. That is a method to present the data. Application is always objective oriented. So meter by itself is not an objective oriented. Meter itself is a data generator. It generates data. That data has to be used by the user to make it objective oriented.
Great,
So
sir. Great.
this is what my understanding is. Meter does not have an application.
Okay.
Application can be by system integrator or by the users. Finally, yeah.
My next question is about the validation and compliance with the IC and the requirement regulation for the smart meter. I have noticed that if you talk about any other equipments, they have only 2 or 3 IC to be followed for the validation. In case of smart meter, I have noticed that there are 36 IC and regulations to be followed to make a smart meter perfect. And it becomes very difficult for engineers to go through each and every IC you have mentioned about in the specification of smart meters, how to tackle such problems of 36 IC we have to refer to make any smart meter to validate anything.
Okay, I would put it in other way, and I'm sure my friend will find it bit amazing. 13779, which is a standard for static meters, and in 1994 when we started meter, that was that year when the standard was first made in BIS, because we were the first company and the only company having the BIS. So since then I am associated. So if you see the tests which are recommended in BIS or in IS 13779, if I remember, these are around 28 in number. But the validation book I am referring for the static meter, there were around 73 more tests. 73.
Oh,
Don't be afraid by the count. Your purpose is not the count. You are not supposed to do your validation test every day on every product. Validation tests are the design test, which are used to be done once. And if you have done it, you are sure about it. And the IS test, as I said, is the floor level, is the minimum which every meter has to pass, which every meter has to pass. And when I was in, when I rather now I am in utility, I never do the test which is mentioned in IS, because the meter manufacturer is already doing it, BIS is already doing it, test labs are already doing it. So why should I do it? There is no point. I'm just repeating the test. What I do the test is totally different. In fact, the CBIP book, which Mr. Vai was referring, if you see the CBIP manual, it is one line mentioned, all the tests plus in BIS plus these tests. So we have to talk, we have to go slightly different from that, slightly different to that. And we have to see where the thing can go wrong, where the thing can flow. I was watching a video where they have blown a Boeing plane just to see if the bomb is planted at this seat number or on which seat number they will have the maximum impact on this thing. Now that's how the people do the validation. Validation
great.
is not just for the selling the product. That's a different. IS and IEC is one thing different. We have to see far beyond that, far beyond that. I gave one example, and please understand those who are from the engineering, from the meter engineering side or from the device manufacturing side, and we have so many knowledgeable person from the power sector, so many legends who have so much experience. Imagine if a sensor has given a signal of some overloading or fire, and that signal goes to the server, and if it take 1 second, if it reaches after 1 second, within 1 second, what will happen to the entire maybe grid or the equipment? We are talking about operation of protection system within milliseconds.
Right,
So
you are right.
we have to understand, same meter, same device. If the application is protection, we are talking about millisecond. If the application is load curve, and if the application is planning or energy meter bill, even if it reach after 10 minutes, it hardly matter. So we have to understand what application and what other thing, and you cannot have same level of validation for everything. So that's the basic difference. And validation is a big science, is a big this thing, and which is the most important thing. Imagine this vaccine people, they are doing so much validation from months together, and then they have released it.
Right, right. My next question is related to power quality. Can I use my smart meter as a power quality analyzer to know about the harmonics generating in my system?
I said you have to define your parameter. If you ask for some in smart meter, you can define that I need the measurement of power quality parameters. Then you will have it. Nobody stops. See, that's the beauty of the standard. If I say IS 13779, and if somebody remember what is the heading of the, or what is the subject of the IS 13779, it says kWh meter. But
Right.
does it prevent you to measure kVh? Does it prevent you to measure VI? No. So same way you can do. But my next question is, does it make any sense to invest so much money in lakhs and crores of meter to analyze the power at consumer end? Now that you have to see. Suppose
Okay.
because of power measurement, quality measurement, if the cost of the meter goes up by 2,000 rupees, is it justified in 25 crore meters? That you have to see. Your investment should have a justification
Great, sir.
and,
And
and application.
so last question from my end is how to use my smart meters for a safety and a protection system. A line from
Yes.
your
Yeah, I think that's the most, a subject which is by my heart. I strongly believe smart meter have so much capability that it can be used for safety purpose. So, for example, can our smart meter can work as a ELCB? The CA regulation, in our case in Delhi state, our DRC regulation, they all emphasize that every consumer should have a ELCB. I
right.
feel smart meter can definitely work as a ELCB. We should not be, there is no need to have a separate ELCB. So
Great.
smart meter can definitely work as a safety device. It can enhance the safety. It can enhance. It can analyze. It can predict. It can identify any eventuality which is going to be there, any short circuiting or any fire or any sparking, and can switch off the supply. So smart meter can be used as a safety device. Now, my simple answer is make it as an objective, make a roadmap, how I will use my smart meter like that, what special I need in my smart meter, you will achieve it. I can assure you. But first thing is don't go this way that I have installed a smart meter, how I can make it safer. Right other way. For safety, what all I need, what instrument I need, what characteristics I need. Once you identify characteristics, make it as a part of the specification and go for it. You will achieve it.
Now I would like to invite Yogesh ji has some question to ask. The last question from our this forum. Yogesh ji, please ask your question before I say goodbye. Please unmute yourself, Yogesh ji.
Hello. Yeah, Namaste, sir. My question was regarding achieving the balancing. It's a good topic you covered, and the balancing in the last mile, which is the consumer, and that you can achieve if it is accepted by him or voluntarily cooperating with him. Otherwise, at the transformer level or at the grid level, how we can achieve it is if the consumer is not agreed to cooperate or to play with in the same system.
No. See, basically, if you are, suppose you have a feeder, 11 kV feeder, which is serving to 10 transformer, those 10 transformer, again, you have some set of LT feeders, which are going to the consumer pole and finally to the consumer.
Yeah.
Of course, it is good that if the consumer has a balanced system, it is good, it will help you. But if it does not, if there is an imbalance, but if you are measuring that imbalance and you have the data, you can definitely reconfigure only by changing the phases or by the connecting the proper phase to the consumer, and you can do the balancing. It's a question of continuous exercise. But just by changing the phases, because in one it may be on one transformer the phase is on one particular load, and the other transformer the phase is another thing. But once you sum it up, maybe at the feeder level you will find the balancing. Let me tell you, ultimately at EHV level you will find most of them are balanced. So once you keep on summing, you will get the balancing. Inside the consumer premises, yes, certainly we can't do anything. But outside that, once we start integrating, once you start measuring how is the individual consumer, then you can definitely changing the phase sequence at the consumer or changing the what phase you are providing to the consumer. It will help you. In fact, that way I realized a big mistake which we did. Mistake, I will not say, big change in the philosophy which we need to do is, earlier we were giving a single phase connection up to 10 kilowatt. Now we are thinking we should bring it back to 6 kilowatt. Unless until we provide them 3 phase, then only they can do the balancing. So this is correction at one level, but balancing can be done if you measure it continuously. And if you have switching where you can change the phase sequence, then certainly you can do the balancing.
Here, for example, in Europe, even for household, we mostly we get the three-phase connections. So you are absolutely right. It is living up to the consumer side, and that you have to achieve the balancing in yourself.
See, balancing is a parameter which is desirable. Now, that does not mean that slight imbalance will affect, is not acceptable. rather than having a huge unbalance, reduce the level of unbalance. So more you are balanced, lower will be losses, lower will be
Yes.
failure, lower will be heating, lower will be technical loss, and maximum will be the life of the asset with the
Yes.
same delivery of power. And that is the word smartness.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
And at last, before I say end, thank you very much for making all of us very smart. We have become very smart about the smart meters now. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again for accepting our request, and you have come sparing your valuable time, and you have given very wonderful session. It was mind blowing. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sparing your time. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. Nice presentation.
Thank you, Rajesh.